Hello, welcome back to the ADHD Girls podcast with me, Claire.
And me, Laura.
Got that right.
Yay, we know who we are.
So today we are going to be talking about ADHD and how it shows up in social interactions. So interpersonal skills, any friction that it causes, anything that's dealing with people in general, and just like how specifically there are challenges if you're ADHD.
How you read people and how you read situations.
Yeah.
And it's I tend to, like, my brain steps in and starts overthinking, where it's like, is this right? Is this not right?
Yeah, there's a lot going on. There's a lot to process, isn't there, in this social environment, and how. So, you know, we always start every week with how has ADHD shown up for you this week. And for me, so I normally go to a choir practice on a Tuesday, and I was just completely tapped out of people. I was there was some sort of logistical issues as well. I was like too tired to go, but I was also like, I just don't know if I can be in a room with people. I am peopled out.
Yeah.
And, you know, it makes me quite frustrated. It shouldn't be a difficult thing to do. I mean, I know the people there and everything, but I was just like, I just need to be not talking to people.
Your social battery was on low.
Definitely. I mean, there is a badge you can get, I think, which shows a social battery. I'm tempted to wear it at work, and it will just be permanently on
zero.
Just zero. Don't come near. Yeah. So that's for me. But what about you, Laura?
I went to IKEA with my friend. Now, normally IKEA is quite a it's a journey.
Yeah.
Arrows everywhere.
Journey into hell.
I do. But I found it okay because it was quiet. It wasn't people-y. And I was with my friend. So because we were chatting and I was focused on the conversation and her, as we were going around, I was okay. I wasn't overwhelmed, because normally as you're going through, there's so much stuff and I'm trying to concentrate on things. I'm trying to look for things. Do I need anything? Do I need a dopamine hit? Oh, I like that room. Oh, that's a pretty, I'm quite like, shiny objects everywhere. Well, today, because it was, when I went with my friend, it was like, oh, it's fine because I'm just focusing on her. I'm not overwhelmed. There's not many people. There's not many sounds or anything. Wow. And I could actually cope. I didn't come out a complete nervous wreck. So
that gives me hope that maybe one day I could cope with IKEA, because I find it just so much. But then I don't tend to go in a weekday.
I haven't been in a long, long time, and it was in the evening in the weekday, and it wasn't a bad experience. I didn't come out like feeling as if I'd been on some journey from like, oh my God, I've seen 50,000 living rooms, I've seen this, I've seen that.
Journey through the realms.
Yeah, literally, because you feel like you're going into different dimensions every like section, and it's a lot for me. It's nothing wrong with IKEA, it's just how I process it. And
I would say it's not neurodivergent friendly at all.
The lighting just hurts my soul.
And the fact that you have to walk, I get very frustrated because it's like you have to go around this way, and there are shortcuts.
I feel like a mouse in a little maze, and I don't get a cheese. It's just going round, and it's like, oh, sweet.
Yeah,
once you're in, you can't get out. It's not like there's no.
You get out when they tell you to get
out. Yeah, the experiment's over now. You can leave. Thank you.
You can never leave till they say.
Yeah, you can check out, but you can never leave. Like, no. And the other thing, actually, on that note, at the end, they've changed. They used to have, also IKEAs are massive, and they used to have like, God knows, it felt like 1,000 tills. It's now all self-service. So you technically work there without getting paid, which that's a whole different podcast.
Yeah.
But my frustration was they made the announcement that we're closing. Could everyone make their way to checkout? So obviously, like little mouses, we made our way through the maze to the checkouts. I bought a couple of things. And there's these little sections where they've got 6 tills or 8 tills in each section, and you have to queue up before each section. And they were like, oh, we're closing this section. Now we're closing this section. And there's probably about 100 people that are now in, instead of 4 queues, there's now 2. Oh. And everyone's, we're closing. And everyone's asking, but you've just made an announcement that you're closing and everyone to come to the tills. We've now all got to the tills, and you're now closing the tills. You're closing half the tills. But they're all self-checkout. They're not people going home. They're all self-checkout. And I'm like, but why have you shut? Well, they closed 2 sections, so they closed 16 tills around. But it's self-service. No one's going home. Like, why are you closing a self-service checkout when there's so many people? And the people there were just like, oh, I don't know. That's what someone told me. Obviously walked off. It's not their fault. But you're just like, common sense is not very common. And this is my thing of dealing with people when those are the aspects I hate going out. Because I will stand there in a rage of this makes no sense. I now have to wait even longer because they're closing a self-service checkout. And I just want to go, I'm done. I want to go home. And that, to me, was more rage than the whole experience of walking around IKEA. It's that end bit of, this makes no sense.
So I would want to throw everything on the floor, knock everything off the shelves, chuck a few chairs round, and then walk out, and then go, this is batshit.
Yeah.
Because that's how I feel. It's like, no, I'm not having this, and I'll just walk out, but not until I've made a mess.
And made your statement of, you've now annoyed
I am
me.
angry.
This makes no sense. Just stress me out.
And I know that's just not a great way to behave because people work there.
So that's what we feel like.
Yeah, exactly.
Just this rage of like, it boils up. And I think this is it with dealing with outdoors and people, where I think we find that someone else might just stand there and go, oh, that's annoying. But I find for neurodivergent people, there's an element of, this makes no sense. This doesn't add up. Why are we, this is now going to just put everyone to stand here for longer instead of the other way around of, right, we're going to need to open more checkouts to get people through quickly so that they're out. It's the opposite of, oh no, we can see there's lots of people. We're now going to shut checkouts. That'll self-service. Like, there's no one going home. There's no one there. Why are you shutting it? And I think that for me is what dealing with the outside world, people and systems and everything else is what I struggle with.
Take on board, isn't there? So, I'm thinking of the workplace and thinking about the places I've worked in offices, and there's so much unwritten rules that we are all supposed to know. And I think a lot of people do know if they're neurotypicals. But I was like, I don't know. I think I've said something wrong. I can see someone frowning. Someone's raised their eyebrows. Someone else has rolled their eyes. But nobody wants to say what I've said wrong, and I've no idea. And I feel like screaming, what is wrong with you? Bunch of people. Just spit it out. It's all this passive aggressiveness.
Yeah, no one actually talks about what is going on. And I find that in a lot of my workplaces, of things were unsaid, but people knew about things somehow, but you didn't know.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, how do you know when I don't know? But I don't know what I don't know, and what's going on.
It's horrible. You just feel out of sorts. I
Office
think
politics.
That's it. And I think, like I say, it is unwritten rules. A lot of people, I find that a lot of the world is obviously geared around neurotypicals, and the neurotypical world is basically everything's unsaid. It's what's said in the space between words. It's that said. So in that gap, so it's what hasn't been said, and we're supposed to know because that's how the world's set up, but we don't know, and we just want to go and shake people, go, but you haven't said what you want. Or you said it's okay, but it clearly isn't. I can see on your face it's not okay.
Yes.
But you won't say why. And the other thing is, we're really good at pattern recognition. Now, I used to think when I first said that, I thought it meant like, when you have those sequence of boxes and triangles and the rest of it, and you have to go, and then all coloured shaded in, it's like, which is the next one? I was like, I have no patience with that sort of question, because I'm like, why are you asking a stupid question? Who cares whether it's a stripy triangle next or one with dots? I couldn't care less. I'm not interested. I've lost interest. Bye. But actually, it's patterns of everything. It's patterns of speech. It's patterns of behaviour. And I think one of the most difficult things I find is when I feel people are being disingenuous. So they're saying they really strongly believe this thing and another thing, but their behaviour is the complete opposite. And I just think, right, something's not syncing up properly here. What you're saying and how you're behaving are completely different. But everybody else seems to think that what you're saying is absolute fact.
Yes.
But I'm sitting there going, hang on a minute, that's not what you're saying, and your actions are completely at odds with that. But I find most people haven't even noticed. No,
I find that a lot of in my workplaces, whatever people said, people would take as gospel, even though that person didn't do that. Oh, but they said they were going to do it, but they haven't done it. But everyone's still praising them for work they haven't done. And I'd be sitting there and I think, but if I say it, I'm the bad person if I point it out.
Yeah, you will. You'll always be seen as the troublemaker.
But this person's somehow getting praised for something they've said they're going to do, they haven't done, but people are going, oh, they're amazing because they said they're going to do this even though they haven't done it.
And no one even cares if they have done it or not. They've lost interest, they don't even care.
No.
It doesn't matter, it's what's seen to have happened.
Yes.
It's what appears to have happened.
Superficial of like, oh, but this person's a nice person because they're saying all the right things. It's like, but they're always late. They're being really, really rude. They're always this. Like they're not who they say they are.
They're not doing their work. They're being rude.
Yeah,
and everyone can see it, and yet
no one.
Oh, it's okay because it's part of the thing that's what people do.
But then when you do it, or you try and do it, or you do something where you think I'm not doing that, but like basically, let's say you come back from a break 3 minutes late, and that 3 minutes, everyone's like, oh my god, you're 3 minutes behind. Yeah, that happened to me in a workplace. But then there was someone going around with a piece of paper constantly. And I remember I'd be looking at them going, but what are they actually doing? Because they're just constantly with the piece of paper. I remember once I'm like, oh, then they openly said to me, oh, I just walk around looking at a piece of paper because everyone thinks I'm busy and doing work. And I'm there like, I'm getting reprimanded for 3 minutes coming back from my break. Yet this person wanders round looking at a piece of paper. No one's questioning them. And they are openly telling me they're not doing any work. And when I brought this up to someone, I didn't go and tell anyone, but I was just like, oh, do you know? Oh, yeah, that's what he does. So it's known that this person doesn't work.
Behaviour? See, I'm getting annoyed on your behalf about something that happened a while ago. Because why is that acceptable?
Yeah. And I'm just like, but 3 minutes, and I get oh yeah, your next time, your 3 minutes. Yet this person walks around for hours, gets paid for it, and everyone seems to know, oh yeah, that's what he does. He just goes around with a piece of paper.
So the other people are aware of it, but they either don't want to challenge it, or
so they challenge you.
Them. Yeah, they challenge you because it's easier to challenge you than it is to challenge the person who's actually not doing anything.
Yeah,
and I think this is so difficult, and I feel like I have a certain moral code. And things very frequently are not matching up to that. Things that I think should come normally and naturally, as in, not natural, but perhaps should just be things that we need in society, like just be decent. I'm not going to say be kind, because I'll come on to that in a minute. I've got a problem with that phrase, because I'll come on to that. But basically, just do what you say you're going to do. And I feel like that should be the code. That should be the common code. But a lot of people, that isn't. No. It's just as long as you look like you are. As if you say you are.
If you say the right things and look like a certain way, like, oh yeah, I'm walking around with a piece of paper looking stressed and everyone assumes I'm working. But if everyone knows that's not happening, to me that is a major, the injustice, everything starts falling out of, this ain't right.
It's just not in my mindset to do that and to just take the piss.
Yeah, and I'm there but I do. And that's why my annoyance was I do work hard.
Yeah.
And yet 3 minutes I'm pulled up on. Yet someone who's on double my salary can walk around looking busy. Everyone knows they're not busy and gets away with it.
I know, it's just
and like you say, the moral part of me, well, I wouldn't take the mickey like that. But it's just, again, the injustice is just there so what's with you and the be kind?
Yeah, so I feel that people will say stuff and it can be hurtful to us, or it can cause us to feel annoyed or angry, upset. And I feel like we put up with that quite a lot because we have to, because otherwise we lost our temper all the time. We would get into trouble. And if we were to bite back, sometimes we do, it's like, oh, that's not very kind. Oh, be kind. And I think, but what was kind about the person who originated this issue? We're just reacting to the injustice that's been done to us.
Yes.
But because people see things very superficially, like I say, the neurotypical world is very much all about just look as if you're doing something. They haven't actually stopped to examine that the thing that was done originally to you was morally wrong, was hypocritical, was hurtful, was really quite cruel.
Yeah.
All they'll see is, oh, but you snap back at them. Oh, that's not very kind of you. And I just think be kind is a way of people shutting other people down and shutting down legitimate concerns. Because it's very easy to say, if someone brings something up and saying, this is not right, this person's abusive, and someone says, be kind.
But they weren't kind to me.
But where was the kindness
to me? Yeah.
And I just think it's a way for society to just gloss over something. And I think what's kind to one person isn't necessarily kind to somebody else. I just think it's a way of smoothing something over that someone doesn't really want to deal with.
Yes.
So they'll throw out that, be kind. Just be kind.
Yeah, because you kind of think, well, but it's not about kindness.
It's not about kindness
and bringing up something that's an issue.
Yeah.
You saying being kind. But then I've had it before where there was that big thing where that Caroline Flack, sadly, ended her life because of, I think there was a lot going on there. And I think that's when this whole Be Kind movement kind of started, because of that, you don't know what people are going through and everything else. But to me, I've had it so many times at work where and again, I'm not saying, because a lot of people will say be kind, so it's not generally for everyone, but I find it was the bitchiest girls saying, oh, just be kind, and they'd get a t-shirt and oh my God, just be kind. But the next minute, absolutely, oh my God, did you hear what da-da-da said? Oh God, look at the state of her. I mean, oh God, would you wear that? I mean, seriously. I'm like, But you literally 10 minutes ago were lecturing someone on, oh, you have to be kind and you don't know what someone's going through and all this stuff to look nice in front of certain people.
So it's all about appearances, superficiality.
Yeah, of just jumping on a bandwagon of, oh, be kind. Oh, everyone's talking about this and this will make me look good. But literally 10 minutes, you're tearing someone down because of how they look, where 10 minutes ago you were like, oh my God, you have to be kind. You don't know what someone's going through. And all
like,
this.
It's for you, it's like a justice thing as well. Of like, but you're not putting that out yourself.
No,
you're people to hold to the standard that you're not yourself.
Exactly,
maintaining.
It's two-faced and you're a liar. You're not who you're claiming to be.
Yeah.
But if you point this out, oh my God, isn't she lovely because she does so much for the be kind. It's like, but that's not who she is. Just because someone says all the right words, but then 10 minutes later they're absolutely tearing someone to pieces over how they look.
Yeah.
That's not someone who's kind. But no one seems to kind of say that. Of people might notice it and go,
I feel neurodivergents are more honest. I feel that we know that people aren't kind all the time, and we're probably just accepting of it. And it's like, but it's all this surface level, this lip service, and it must be seen to be kind. But we know that people aren't. Yeah. And we just see it's like the hypocrisy is not matching up. Your behaviour is not matching what you're saying.
Exactly. The hypocrisy, I think that's the word.
Hypocrisy,
you're saying one thing, but you're behaving in another way, yet everyone seems to just go for the first one.
It's easier to do that than actually examine what's really going on. And
again, people don't want to challenge it.
No.
Because of either who that person, I think as well, a lot of it goes back to the playground of, you don't want this person to start on you. Subconsciously, I think it's there of like, oh, I don't really know what to say, because if they start on me, everyone's just going to leave it. No one's going to come to my rescue and go, actually, hold on a minute, you can't say or do that. And these people are very sneaky. Because I remember in work, they'd say things without saying them and just be really rude and, and it's like, how do you, again, deal with that? Because it's that thing of like, you're being really, really rude, but you're passing it off as, oh, it's just a joke.
Yeah.
You're like, well, it's not funny to me. Everyone's laughing, but I'm not. And it's directed at me. And I would feel really uncomfortable. But I feel if you said it, there was, oh, it's just a joke. Oh, that's what she's like. Oh, she does it to everyone. And that bypasses, a bit like you say, oh, just be kind, where it's like, but I'm being, there's something not right here.
I feel like we're being judged. It's like we're trying to be authentic. We're trying to be who we are. And we're trying to just get through the thing. Yeah. And then we're getting someone idiot going, just be kind. And it's like, no, there is something that needs to be raised. There is an issue here. Be it there is bullying going on, there is fraudulence, there is whatever is going on. It feels like if you raise that, you get told, oh, I'll be kind. And it's like, hang on, but the thing that's happening is not kind to anybody.
Yeah. Well,
hang on, the bigger thing,
to me.
Never mind me speaking out of turn that you're perceiving I'm doing. The bigger issue is what is going on that I'm speaking out about. But no, we don't want to deal with that. We'll just tell you to be nice and quiet and be kind and sweet and lovely.
I think that's for me, I see it as that's the issue of people think, I don't want to deal with issues because then there's paperwork and I actually have to go deep into whatever's going on.
And we know we are great at deep diving and we will get to the nub of what's going on, but a lot of people don't want to.
They just want to, I'll go to work, do the absolute minimum and go home. But while we're going, but then, be kind, or gloss over whatever is going on.
But we notice everything. And it's really hard to think that a lot of people don't even notice it or notice any deviant from
Maybe they just don't say it. I don't know, maybe they notice it, but just go, I can't be able to deal with it.
Perhaps it doesn't elicit any emotion in them.
I think because we've got so many emotions tied to our, that for us the injustice is huge.
It is.
And I think that's what, for me, comes out of this is injustice against me. And I think I've gotten to the stage where it's happened so much, I've just had enough.
Yeah.
And it's dealing with that of, I've fed up of just glossing it over and putting my head down and going, oh, just pretend it didn't happen or whatever, because I think it's continuing to happen. Yeah,
exactly. It's not a one-off. It's happening all the time. Yeah, it does feel like we are, not soothsayers and such, but we notice. We will see things way before everyone else. We will see a problem coming on the horizon and, something's coming. we can see it, and everyone else is like, everything's fine, it's fine, it's fine, my legs dropped.
Like the Titanic, there's an iceberg up ahead, and everyone's going, oh, there's icebergs everywhere, it's fine. But it's directly in front of the ship. Yeah, but there's lots of icebergs. It's that.
And it does get, wearing, you get to our age, we've had all our life, we've been told, no, you're just, I'm not thinking, you're being too sensitive, it's fine. It's like, fine. It's not, everything's going wrong, it's just disaster. And everyone's like, no, it's fine. So it is really difficult for us in that, to be in that. With social interactions, there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of people trying to smooth things over, but we can't switch off that noticing. No,
and I think like with people who are dishonest as well, you kind of think, I have to spend time with someone who's dishonest and is getting away with things, is rude, is the whole pretending to be one person but they're not. But I think for me the biggest thing was I have no control over this because I have to see this person. If this was like in a friendship group, I was just like, okay, fine, I'm not going to spend any time with this person.
Yeah.
But in work, I think because you're in close proximity and forced to be around the fakeness, it sets all the alarms going. And these alarms are constantly going because you're trying to warn yourself of this person. Yeah. You can't remove yourself from this person.
And your nervous system is stuck on that.
Fight or flight, but you're constantly almost in fight.
Yeah.
Because you can't flight.
No.
And you're just constantly in this fight of like, what are they going to say next? What are they going to do? What are they going to...
And then you've got some idiot coming up to you going, I'm just behind.
That's what she's like, don't worry about it. It's like, it's not about worrying about it. It's, when it continually happens, it is bullying. It is an issue. And it does affect your mental health in the workplace.
Yeah.
Because then, when it comes to you, let's be honest, already work is not somewhere most people want to be. But then when you add these people into the mix of you're then having to mix with people who are however they behave, where you're going, this isn't right, and you feel powerless, it's a horrible feeling of not only do you think, I'm not fussed about work, but now I have to deal with something I don't want to deal with.
And they're just constantly chipping away at you with their
little comments.
Crap. Their deviousness, their little gameplay, and and you're just like, I don't want to be playing this game. I just want to do what I want to do. I just want to get on with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And they're constantly chipping away, and you might snap, and you know that you'll be judged very unfavourably for that.
Well, then they seem to just, because there seemed to be one of those, I knew someone, and they were just really nice to the right people. They would, what you call ask kissers, they'll be just like really, really in with, they would just know, like, this person does this, or I'm going to be in with all the people, and they'd find out things like, oh my God, I love golf as well, or oh my God, I do this, and then let you think, well, they've never played it. They're just saying all the things that these people want to hear. But once they're in with these people, you then can't do anything because you're complaining to the people who go, oh no, he's brilliant. Oh no, oh yeah, no. Oh no, he helps out the orphanage, or whatever nonsense they've come up with, where you're going, well, they don't even know what an orphanage is. Like, they don't do these things.
They've saved all the stray dogs.
Yeah,
cats.
Yeah, they've saved the world. They've cured cancer. Like, they're not doing these things, but because they've built up and ass-kissed the right people, you're then like, oh my God, how?
So would you say it's fair to say that we are, as a group, much more likely to be honest, authentic, and to see through?
Yes.
Or a preferred method is to be, obviously we can't all be 100% authentic all the time, it's just unrealistic because we're in society, but a preference for being authentic.
Yes, and I think that's what causes us problems, because someone else at work like that, you can spot them and get on with them, but it just seems to be certain people are in certain positions at work who are fake, superficial,
playing a game,
into games, and that's where their energy goes. But then you find out a lot of these people don't have anything outside of work.
They don't have anything outside, and actually in work they don't have a lot either. In fact, there's just not a lot going on really. They're just a shell of a human.
It's just constant talking,
because it's just surface level,
superficial
They're
stuff.
probably not very good at their job. They don't really have any sort of desire to do it well, or to learn. And then outside of work, they haven't got a lot going on either.
No, and it's just like, well, I don't want to deal with this person, but it's a really hard position to be in because it does affect you. And I think you can feel very stuck in, you're looking for other jobs, but then you're kind of almost like, is the grass greener? It doesn't mean it's going to be better.
This is it. You could be going into
a whole different hell.
Giving your
an unknown hell. Where you think, well, I know this hell. I know how to deal with this hell. But then it's going into then an unknown.
Yeah.
Where in your mind, well, it might be better, it might be worse.
And you've got to get to deal with a whole new bunch of people with their own issues that are going to be played out, and you've got to go through a whole new set of pattern recognition and like, is this person right? Is this person, is this person someone I need to actually be dealing with on a day-to-day basis? How is that going to feel? It's daunting. So I think
it uses a lot of energy.
It does, emotional in all these interactions. Yeah.
And we've now reached the no shame zone, where we share things that we'd be quite shameful of in the past. Well, now we just share them, and you can join in our shame. So for me, it was when someone was being rude to me, I would just feel really uncomfortable and laugh along, because I wouldn't know what to say. I'd know they were being rude to me. I knew that they were taking the piss, but I didn't have the confidence to do any different. Well, now if someone is starting to go down that road, I just shut off. I just go very quiet and just look at them, because I think that's not a reaction. I'm not being rude. I'm just not going to go down that, I'm just going to laugh along because I don't know what else to do. It's just shutting it from my end down, of just going very, very quiet and looking at them. And I find sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, because some people are just so self-thing of like, I'm just going to say whatever. But I just don't put any energy into it now. And I am just I'm not rude. I just look at them.
It's almost like brick walling them. Sort of like,
where's this going to go? Like, are you... Because I have a sense of humour. I think I can laugh at myself, but there is a difference in your participation in the joke over someone trying to ridicule you in front of people and being cruel. Maybe, everyone has those boundaries and everything. Yeah. And you know if that's being... And I think the other person knows when they've gone over it, but it's being more confident in not joining in and I'm just going to laugh it off, because that hasn't...
Gives you a bit of space, doesn't it?
Yeah. So it's just that kind of like, no, I'm going to keep a straight face, and that should signal to the other person of, okay, this is not funny to me. Like,
yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, with me, I mean, my instant reaction, my natural tendency of someone saying something, is it a blatant lie, or it's rude, or it's again meant to disrespect me? It's very obvious, is to counterattack. That is my natural tendency, and I think that is from ADHD. It's the impulsivity. But something I do try a bit more now is to... If someone says something that's utterly ridiculous, or they're doing it to be controversial, or just doing it to get rise, I'll go, what did you mean by that? Could you say that again? I'm not quite sure what that means. And it kind of works on two levels, because I find I am asking much more questions these days when I don't... In the past, I have just like gone... I don't understand what someone's saying, but I'm going to laugh along like you're saying, because it's just like,
I don't know what to do.
Yeah. And it could be about anything. So it works on that level. It's like, okay, I might be misreading this. There is a possibility I have misunderstood what their intention was. So it works on that level. It also works on the level, it's like, it puts a bit of space between me and that person and me reacting, and it allows them to sort of either realise they've been an idiot and go, oh yeah, okay, I'll rephrase that, or they could reiterate it, and then I would know for sure that they were being an idiot, and I'm kind of like, okay, fine, but that's given me that break,
that pause almost
between reacting,
and like the clarity as well. That's a really good clarifying question to ask, because then it really opens up the conversation more. Because
I genuinely might have misunderstood, or they might have just said, because people do say things flippantly sometimes, and I wouldn't want to judge someone harshly thinking, okay, that was just something they were just saying and it come out of their mouth. They didn't really mean it. So it also allows me to sort of think, right, okay, possibly I have reacted in a very visceral way that I maybe didn't need to. But it's hard. It's, it's not easy. But
I find our emotions go straight up. And I think that's because in the past, for me, there's been so many instances where someone has been, so straight away I'm almost on the, okay, I need to fight now, because it's happened so much where someone's been rude or someone said something and I haven't reacted.
Yes.
And I'm now at a stage of, right, I need to react, but now I'm going, no, I don't need to react. I actually need to do the opposite of just sometimes, like with you, just kind of, what do you mean by that? That's a really good, because you're not being, no one could say that's being rude.
No.
You're just trying to clarify of, what do you mean? I don't understand.
I kind of say it in that way, of that, try and be open and to the fact that it might be, it might have slipped out, it didn't mean it like that, because there is always that possibility. But yeah, it's hard, because like I say, our patterns do pick up on when we think someone is doing something maliciously to us. But yeah, if they are, at least it gives you that space to not react, because kind of that isn't going to go well if you counterattack. I feel that that's what they want.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do want the drama. They do want the, oh my God, you're not going to believe what the said to me. And it's not giving them. It's now kind of being in control of yourself and your emotions and your reaction.
No, you can have that back. I don't actually want to take that.
The more they
it's back on you.
Yeah, and as well, the more they dig the hole, you can say, well, the first they said that and then they said that. So you've got almost more if it goes further on. Well, no, they definitely said that.
Yeah.
And it gives you a bit more clarity over what is exactly their meaning behind.
And do I need to act next or not? Is it something I can just leave, or is it something I do need to address?
Yeah.
So it gives you options, doesn't it?
Yeah, options are always good. Oh, well, thank you very much for joining us. And
we will see you next time. Bye.